Hey everyone and welcome to Law Tech Pro. I finally did it. I bought my very first Casio F-91W. The watch comes in this pretty nondescript run-of-the-mill cardboard box, and since it only cost me about 1000 rupees or $12, I'm going to overlook the numerous scuffs on the exterior. The inner box simply slides out like so, and the inside is a simple foam packaging, which doesn't fit the watch at all. But to be honest, it does the job and I cannot see any scratches or blemishes on the F-91W. The model designation number of this version is the standard F-91W1G, which is characterized by the blue ring on the edge of the bezel and a mix of white, red and yellow text. The other colorways include the green ringed F-91W3, the sandpapery finished bezels of the green F-91WM3A, or the blue bezeled F-91WM2A. For those inclined towards a more classy look, there's a silver bezel F91WM7A and a gold bezeled F91WM9A. The latest one, however, is the F91WB2A2 in Tiffany blue, which is part of Casio's new Pop series. Now back to the F91W1. First released in 1989, this model is incredibly simple and is built to a cost without missing out on functionality, which is why there are only 3 buttons on this device. The one on the top left doubles as a light/adjust button, while the one below serves as a mode button, and the right button is used to turn off or on the alarm, switch between the 24-hour or 12-hour time, and to start or stop the chronograph. The core feature set of this watch is the iconic 1980s design, auto calendar with day-date functionality, alarm with hourly signal chime, a 1:100 second stopwatch with 2 lap options, an LED backlight, and the option to choose between 12-hour or 24-hour time. Truth be told, the most complicated part about the F91W is removing the tag from the buckle. It's that simple to operate. Furthermore, at its $12 price tag, the viewing angles for the LCD aren't half bad, while the band feels incredibly smooth to the touch and is extremely flexible. Moving on to the rear, the watch has a stamped stainless steel back with nice clean horizontal brushing. We have the Casio logo and the module number, which is 593. It says F91W water resistant and made in China. The DH at the bottom is probably a code associated to the factory where it was put together. The plastic buckle has a China marking on the rear and the Casio logo on the front. The Bandkeeper is also made out of plastic and neither it nor the tongue is going to come undone by themselves, as they latch onto the rubber bands with a very secure fit. However, it does make unbuckling the band a tad more cumbersome than it should be. It's not entirely made out of plastic though, as Casio has deftly employed stainless steel on the parts which experience the most friction, evidenced by the pins connecting the bands to the lugs and a pin to connect the buckle, tongue and band together. As for the dimensions, the F91W is around 8.5 mm in thickness, about 38 mm lug to lug, and the case is 35 mm wide at the center. The display is tiny at only 19 mm wide. But even more minuscule is the weight, which at 20 grams is about the same mass as 2 small erasers. Fun fact: the end of one of these erasers is nearly big enough to cover the entirety of the display on the F91W, or one could use their pinky finger to cover the display. Adding on to the scale references, the end of your thumb is most probably bigger than the entire watch itself. Now on to operating the watch. On the home screen, pressing the right button switches between 12-hour and 24-hour time, and the top left button turns on the light, which is extremely dim. This is one of the biggest drawbacks on the F91W, as at night, the display is almost illegible. Let's cycle through the modes now. We have an alarm mode with hourly signal functionality, then a 1/100th of a second stopwatch. The third mode is nothing but the time adjustment mode. The fourth and final one is the timekeeping mode. In the alarm mode, the right button is used to turn on or off the alarm, with the 5 bars denoting the alarm and the bell icon denoting the hourly signal chime. Speaking of bells, a sub to the channel would be fabulous, and hit that bell icon so you are notified whenever I upload a video. To adjust the alarm, hold the top left button for a few seconds. This lets you change the hours. To select the hours, you can either press once or any number of times on the bottom right button, or you can press and hold it to cycle through the hours even faster. To select the minutes, press the adjust button once again. And like I demonstrated before, you can press and hold the forward button to cycle through the minutes even faster. Once you're done selecting the time, press the adjust button and the alarm will be set. And by pressing mode, one can go back to the home time. The stopwatch has two modes. In the regular mode, press the bottom right button to start the stopwatch. To stop the operation, press once again. Then press the light button to set it back to 0. To start a split time or second lap time, press the top left button while the stopwatch is in operation. The word lap comes up on the display. Press the stop button to record the lap time. Press the adjust button once to check the lap time, and once more to reset the stopwatch. One cool hidden feature on the F-91W is if you press and hold the bottom right button, the word Casio pops up on the display. That is incredibly cool. There's one final hidden feature in the alarm mode. If you press and hold the bottom right button, it starts beeping. And it doesn't stop until you let go of the button. Fun fact, if you press all the buttons at once, you enter the display's service mode, which turns on all these segments on the LCD. To set the time on the F-91W, press the mode button 3 times. This causes the seconds to start blinking. If it's higher than 30 seconds, pressing the right button causes the minutes to jump up by 1 and the seconds to reset to 0. Now comes the tricky part, matching it to my Mudmaster, which is set to the correct time. Because now we are below 30 seconds, which means the minutes won't change when I press the button. So it's just a matter of waiting until your reliable time source hits 00. And now. To set the hour, press the light/adjust button and use the right button /start stop button to select the appropriate hour. Press the light button once again to start the minutes adjustment. It follows the same procedure. Next in line is the date adjustment. First, one needs to select the month by pressing the right button. Then you can select which day of the month it is, otherwise known as the date. And finally, the last adjustment to be made is selecting the day of the week. Pressing the light button once again takes you to the seconds adjustment. From here, you could correct any time discrepancies or press mode to exit the time setting operation. And now it's time to see how the F-91W looks like on the wrist. Because of how light and small it is, it's kind of hard and tricky to get on your wrist. This is the pre-fancy marketing spiel bioresin band. It's just good old school resin, which means it feels supple and is comfortable to wear. Aided by the 20-gram weight, this means the F-91W is barely noticeable on the wrist. The latest versions feature bioresin bands which are not as comfortable. However, the band does have a wide range of adjustment and hugs the wrist quite beautifully. And the stainless steel back provides some much needed heft and strength. So what's my final verdict on the F-91W? Should you avoid it, consider it, shortlist it, or go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon you should shortlist it. The F-91W is a purpose-built Casio with a timeless utilitarian design that has aged incredibly well. It remains one of Casio's most important and iconic digital watches, and it still carries a cool factor that far outweighs its minuscule price. Yes, the backlight is weak and the pushes leave indents on your fingers, but its reliability is unmatched at this level. Factor in the featherlight construction and the shatter-resistant acrylic crystal and the very real possibility of a decade of battery life, and you get a watch that simply refuses to die. If you aren't on a tight budget, you may not be blown away by how it feels, but if you want a brutally honest, no-nonsense digital watch that just tells the time, gives you a few essential features, and keeps going without a complaint, then the F-91W is a must-have for any watch enthusiast. And that sums up this video. If you've made it this far, do hit that like button. See you guys in the next one.